All right, welcome back to the 2-minute warning. Today, I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers after it's just been announced they have re-signed wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, and what this re-signing, really means for the Steelers and Juju in general. But before getting into that topic, question for those of you viewing, for you Steelers fans and NFL fans in general. Ben Roethlisberger has 2 Super Bowl rings. Who were the 2 separate teams that he beat to earn his Super Bowl victories? If you know the answer, comment it down below. If you do not, I will reveal the answer at the end, so make sure you stay tuned. But getting into this topic, Juju Smith-Schuster is coming back on a 1-year, $8 million deal. Surprising and not surprising at the same time, because we know Juju has an amazing relationship with Chase Claypool, the other wide receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers team. They're kind of best friends. We know they have their whole TikTok thing where they can't get enough of each other, just basically in love at this point. And you also figure with Big Ben coming back, Juju would want to play for him while they have a great relationship as well. And Juju just played his past 4 years at Pittsburgh. There's no hate against him. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come back and play for your home team? But it is also surprising that it is only a 1-year deal, kind of showing that the Pittsburgh Steelers might not be invested in him long term. And $8 million kind of shows that Juju Smith was willing to bite his tongue to come home and play with Pittsburgh when he could have gone out to a New York Jets or Baltimore Ravens, who has publicly said they have offered him more. So I'm really surprised about him turning down the Jets. Baltimore Ravens, I'm surprised that they even offered Juju Smith the deal, because yeah, he's a solid receiver, but to offer a division rival a big paycheck, it's a little surprising, but it is what it is. I am not surprised Juju turned that down because of the division rival thing. But I am surprised he turned down New York, because, like I said, Juju Smith and his TikTok and his flashy fame that he's obsessed with stardom, New York, big market, big area. He could be a big face in New York City, so I am surprised he's not more interested in them, especially with them offering him more money. But it is what it is, and really, where does this put the Pittsburgh Steelers? Well, the receiving core, it doesn't really have a number 1 receiver. There's a lot of speculation that Juju is a wide receiver number 2, but the entire receiving core has like 4 wide receiver number 2s. They don't have a 1, 2, 3, 4. They kind of have 2, 2, 2, 2. So that's kind of a good problem to have in a sense with Juju Smith, Chase Claypool, James Washington. You got Eric Ebron at the tight end position, and you also even got Deontay Johnson in the receiving core as well. So this overall receiving core is very deep, a lot of depth, and a lot of solid talent. However, a lot of it will determine, no matter whether or not you have the best receivers in the NFL or the worst receivers in the NFL, it all depends who is throwing to them. And Big Ben, we have to see how he will do in probably his last season. We saw him take a big decline last year. We see this happen with quarterbacks as they age. I mean, Peyton Manning, even though he won the Super Bowl, took a huge dive down. He didn't win that Super Bowl for him. The defense did. Drew Brees this past year in his last game did not look good at 3 interceptions. Tom Brady's really the only guy that Tom versus time. He doesn't age, it seems. And Big Ben, we saw him age pretty well last year, and I'm now a little skeptical with him even playing one more. We know Big Ben doesn't really have, the motto and motive to take care of his body to the nth degree like Tom Brady does, where he spends $7 figures a year on his body with his avocado tequila and so on and so forth. Big Ben, his work ethic isn't completely there. Longevity has worked out in his favor for now in the meantime, but now he's hit a brick wall, and I think it's kind of catching up to him, not taking care of his body over the years to the nth degree of what he could have. I mean, and that's fine. He still had a very successful 17, 18-year career with 2 Super Bowl rings, but now I do think he's just kind of going a little too far. I think he should cut his losses. However, he was willing to renegotiate with the Pittsburgh Steelers to save them money, so at least he's taking, biting his tongue and biting the bullet on that one and being the bigger man, going for the sake of the team at that point. And they still have a great defense, probably top 5. You got Devin Bush, you got TJ Watt, arguably the best defensive player in the NFL, him or Aaron Donald. You got a good secondary and Mika Fitzpatrick and Joe Hayden. Really, they did lose Bud Dupree in free agency. I'm curious how they will do without him, but still think they're a solid defense. So they have all the right pieces, good defense. Even Cameron Hayward's on that defensive line, really. Don't have too many holes on the defense, if any. Receiving core is great. Big Ben's offensive line. Pouncey Brother retired, and I do think they need to replace him. However, they really can't. Not production and talent-wise, but Pouncey Brother has been with the Pittsburgh Steelers pretty much his whole career. The amount of leadership and wisdom and knowledge he provided that offense, and team as a whole is just kind of irreplaceable. So I am thinking the Pittsburgh Steelers do have a loss on him just because the amount of leadership and the great presence he had. And then, of course, the run game. So really, between a offensive line that probably lost their best leader, a run game that is not there, and a quarterback that is declining, I don't have a lot of faith in the Pittsburgh Steelers to go out and be a huge Super Bowl contender. I do think it's possible with that amazing defense, and a Big Ben could pull even a little bit, like this much gas out of the tank. They can go 10-6, 9-7, 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, and become a wild card playoff berth. But I don't think they're going to win the division, and I don't think they're a serious Super Bowl contender. I like the Browns this year in the AFC North. I think they're kind of spotless all around their team for the most part. Obviously, no team is absolutely perfect, but the Browns are getting a lot of things together. Best offensive line in the league, best backfield in the league, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Receiving core is just as good, if not better, than the Pittsburgh Steelers when you have a healthy OBJ, Rashard Higgins, Jarvis Landry, and then a double tight end threat in Austin Hooper, David Njoku, and then Baker Mayfield. Him and Big Ben, I definitely think Baker Mayfield has finally taken a step over Big Ben in maturity for the most part, and Big Ben's just declined so much. I do think Baker is definitely better than Big Ben, at least heading into this season. And then looking at the defense, probably right now, with the chemistry the Steelers already have and the production we've already seen, probably have a better defense than the Browns, but I would not be surprised if the Browns defense emerges to be one of the top 10 defense in the NFL. We know you got Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward, plenty of star power on that Browns defense, but the one thing they needed was depth, and they have already addressed that in free agency. They addressed the defensive line with Myles Garrett, and they even got Sheldon Richardson, and they're working on that as well. But in the secondary, where Denzel Ward needed more help than even Myles Garrett, you added Troy Hill, a corner that has speculation behind him, but when he was with John Johnson, who was the safety the Browns signed, those two were teammates in LA, and they performed well together, and now they're both going to Cleveland and the Browns, and I think they're going to perform well together again in this Browns secondary, and defense is going to take a big jump. And I'm not a Browns fan by any means, but I am excited to see them this year, and I do think even the Baltimore Ravens have a step above the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, just because I think, I'm not hating on Big Ben, but I just think he's so declining so quickly that he's not going to be able to carry a football team like he used to. He can't put the ball deep down the field, and no matter what is around you, you can only get so far without a good quarterback, and Big Ben is declining. And really, the run game, I think they will address, whether it be a Le'Veon Bell reunion, they look at Todd Gurley, or leave it out of free agency and go into the NFL draft and look at Najee Harris from Alabama, or Trey Sermon from Ohio State, or Travis Etienne for Clemson. They have options to fix things, but overall, I think Big Ben won't allow them to get that far, and I seriously think this is the Steelers saying, once Big Ben retires in 1 year, we're not going to re-sign Juju either, therefore him being on a 1-year deal. I'm proud of Juju, and I'm excited to see this Steelers team get the gang back together for the most part, and I just said it, but I am proud of him for, taking the less money to play at home with Pittsburgh. I am a little surprised, but him and Chase Claypool have such a good friend relationship that I'm not surprised in the same time. So, overall, good move by Juju and the Steelers, not spending too much, $8 million, pretty solid value for a pretty good number 2 receiver if he stays out of the drama. And I still think they can possibly go 10-6 and get a playoff berth, but a Super Bowl to call them a Super Bowl contender is not in the realm for me and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think of this Juju Smith-Schuster deal? Do you think it's good? Do you think Big Ben's going to deteriorate like I think he has been and become even worse than he was last year? Overall, just let me know what you guys think of the Steelers in general in the comments down below. And for the question of you, for those of you viewing, Big Ben beat the Arizona Cardinals and Kurt Warner and the Seattle Seahawks to win his 2 Super Bowls. Thanks for watching, guys. 2-minute warning.